All right, so we're gonna continue our map review here. Again, we're gonna be trying to assign some different scores and our final average score on the maps that are remaining here. And then we're gonna try and summarize what it is. So let's just jump into it. What do we have here? Continuing the small contest assessment here. Okay, so another 4-player map, and we have only 4-player maps remaining. I think one 3-player map to check. So as usually on 4-player maps, let's just start with the overall idea here. So again, we have like 3 bases per player, and then we have bases 12 and 6, which are shared bases with these bridges, and then we have bases at 3 and 9, which are also kind of shared, but in a different. They're like high ground bases with wider ramps, and here are some low ground bases, but with relatively narrow bridges. So I mean, this is for example better for Terran. This is not so good for Terran because it's more space. So this kind of examples here. So we have the very natural kind of like circuit breaker setup here, right? So this is very much like a circuit breaker. It's pretty much exactly the same layout when it comes down to expansions, but it of course has got some different features on the map. So yeah, not much to talk about. Main is fine. This is all okay. This is like super wide, I feel like. I don't know if this is intentional, but I think pros players may struggle a little bit here. You have to the pylon, then forge, sorry, then pylon, forge, gateway. Pylon, forge, gateway, yeah. So that's a bit, well, yeah, I guess it's fine. It's not so bad. So this is all okay. And then a very standard natural base, by the way, 7 minerals. We have been seeing 6 minerals all the time. I think 7 is actually more reasonable in most thirds. I mean, at least give 7, 6 is very low. And then, okay, so on Circuit Breaker, we of course have this high ground here. Here we only have a small ramp that is kind of like connecting this. It's very difficult to use that ramp for attacking. It's primarily for scouting, I guess, and small harassment. And then big ramps. So it's kind of like reversed Circuit Breaker. Oh my god.
Thank you, my friend.
Hey again, Ox. Thank you. Thank you very much. This map looks to me like reversed Circuit Breaker, because look at this. Where was high ground, we have low ground. Where was low ground, we have high ground. Where was low ground, we have, you know, so it's like everything is changed by one level. And then the center, of course, is with this, yeah, some high grounds here. Yeah. I think not much more to talk about this map. This is a very standard. The center, although, is a little bit more difficult than Circuit Breaker. So some consideration for like cross-position attacking. You know, have to go around middle of it most of the time to have a successful attack. These bases here, despite being on high ground, are more exposed than Circuit Breaker, and I don't think I like it. Because again, this kind of base is very hard to hold. And it's also only 7 minerals. So this is also 7 minerals, so also a bit less macro, or that mineral maybe is here, I don't know. Okay, yeah, let's not spend much more time on this very standard map. So let's start with the usual score of assessing how it looks like. Is it a beautiful map, or is it just a normal map? Is it really eye appealing? I don't know, what do you guys think? Give it a thought. I'm gonna put my son to bed. So tell me put the scores in chat. How you're gonna, you know, what do you believe is the score that I should give to this map? I have my own already, so be right back. Alright, I'm back. No one dares to submit a score. It's an alright map, so I give it a 6 on the donuts and stuff. I just think it's fine. It's a completed map, so you know, nothing wrong to say about it. But it's very plain. I like plain, but I think, like, you know, like terrains like this, you can see it's a whole screen of nothing. Whole screen of nothing. This is super basic, right? So I think I'd like to. I like when there's at least a little bit of something, like in places like this. So I give it a 6. Not because it's bad. I just don't think it's particularly good. There's Dark Templar Rush again. So we're gonna give a 6 on that one. Design, I think, is super standard. So it's okay. I think it's a fine design. You get this relatively easy third, relatively easy fourth, but there are less minerals than on Circuit Breaker, so it's gonna be a little bit less macro-ish. You have these bases that can be easily harassable here. So I think it's fine. I think it's an 8 on the design, just because it's a standard design, well executed. Everything looks clean and nice. So we can have 8 and 6, and for gameplay, I'm also gonna give it an 8. So 7.5. I think it's my final verdict on this map. It's just a standard normal map. Nothing spicy, nothing unusual. We've seen plenty of those before. It's just a new way of making it. Well, not I wouldn't say new. We had seen all that, but it's just another replica of a very standard map. So 7.5 here, and I'm just gonna write in the comment just a very standard. Excuse me. Just a very standard map. Could use some more details. Yeah, to improve the looks. That'll be it. So not much to say. I mean, some of these maps are pretty easy to review. Some of them are super difficult. So that was Mr. Character, by the way, and we didn't talk about it. We have now reviewed 3 of his map, and this map definitely scored the highest one. We also had Static, when we given Static score 4.5. And then we have given 2 to Technopathic. So this map definitely the best map from that from the person, in my view at least. But again, it's a 4-player map. It's much easier to make just a standard 4-player map, I think, for a decent score. But if you want to have something really great, I think you need to do something different than that. Okay, so we're moving on to Oil Flow. Go with the flow or against it. Very nice. Version 081 in collaboration again with Stylezerg and Freaklink. We've seen that before, I think, on Tundra, and maybe also some others maps before. So let's check it out. Okay, wow, okay, we already see some different structures, so there's gonna be some action. All right, so because this map looks differently, so what do we have? Okay, so we have this 3-base setup with this low ground third per player, and there is a 4th base for each of them, but it's kind of like shared base. So like top players share the base and bottom players share the base. So it's like Empire of the Sun, right? It's very similar to that. Like if you take out this mineral here, then you remember there's this map, I think it's called Empire of the Sun, which is very much the same. High ground, main and natural, with like you know a same elevation passage, natural, and then far away through high ground. But then there's just, I think, a mineral only, right? And then you have bases on 3 and 6 o'clock, which are gas bases, and they're low ground there. So there's some similarity on the concept. But okay, this is a very different map because it has got so much other stuff. So let's check it out first. So we have 9 here and we have 7 here. So regular mineral patches. I think it's a fine main. There are some vision blockers. There are some open areas. It's a nice blend. Going to create some, you know, interesting dynamics. You can defend this with 2 turrets, but this you don't need much turrets because you see it, and so and so. So it's nice. Some conceptual things, and then we have the natural. From the natural, we have the, of course, normal path out with a small NORAD, but there's also an alternative path with some eggies here. And some eggies here, what are they to be used for? You can't really send an SCV. You can, but okay, so it's like, so there's just a path here. The path allows you to hit the expansion and then just use the path. Not sure I'm a big fan of these legs here, because what's the purpose for them? Is the purpose just to open a path that is by design very long? So I imagine this path is like, you know, like a snake here, because if you don't do it like this, then your units will bug if you send them to top right, so you have to extend the distance, so natural path is taken like this. But I don't see the value of opening that path. I mean, you will not be attacking for that narrow choke anyway, and you know, to eat like 4 or 8x depending on, you know, which position you're going from, I think that's a bit of an overkill. So I'm not sure I understand the X part here, unless there would be some kind of an expansion maybe in between, something like, you know, optimizer, but rather than mining minerals you just have to kill X, maybe something like that. That'll be that could be interesting, but I'm not sure I understand the reason for this X. So these X are very weird for me, because you can't really use like a quick scout here, right, and abuse some scouting with workers here. I would probably just add some value here, and also you can just, okay, you can't access here. Alright, I thought you can just get in here, but apparently these are tied, right? I was under the impression that you can actually go through here. So there's a whole part of a map that is locked out, but I don't really see value of unlocking that part, because you don't want to move your army around these very narrow paths here and circle around and everything backs, and you would only do that to open some extra paths for attacking locations that are not really interesting to use, right? So not sure about that. Yeah, you know, if there was like a high ground here, right? You know, like, let's see, there's a ramp and a high ground you can drop. I don't know. That's crazy, of course. I'm not saying do it, but... Alright, so there's something I don't necessarily like. I mean, there should be at least some value in this X, right? They should be blocking something, not just an empty path that no one wants to use. Even if this path was unlocked, it would have been so used, I guess. It would be used, but you get a point, right? So, alright, so that's the Aegis, and then there are these structures which are also securing that area. So, there is something missing here, definitely something missing, conceptually. Maybe a base here, or maybe some minerals to use here. But again, minerals, they only, if you add minerals, the only thing you change is that SCVs can go from here, but it also doesn't make much of a difference, I think, if you send an SCV from here or from here. And if you add minerals, then you also will bug some of the actual ground units, right? If you kill the X, because there are some additional path blockers. So I think there's something has to be, maybe there's some, yeah, something missing. Maybe that base should be locked with this X, and you should only access this by X. Kinda, alright, some ideas. I don't want to tell what it should be, because obviously it should be my map maker's decision. So, other than that, what do we have? We have a third base that is very difficult to take, extremely difficult, because you get it on the low ground, exposed low ground, and you have to go for the high ground, and you expose your path to the main here. And if you defend this base, you kinda defend this base, but it's a very spread defense. So it's a tough one. So it's a 2 base map by design with some opportunity. And again, this is what I was talking about. Maybe if you make some kind of a base here, then this, despite being very difficult and this being very difficult, there is a third base potentially that can be, you know, a little bit like a semi-island. Maybe that's an idea. Because otherwise, I'm worried that also for ZVP, this is a horrible ZVP. Third base is very open, hard to sunken. This is just 5 minerals, so no one will ever want to take this base. So these are the parts that I don't like about this map. And then what do we have in the middle? We have plenty of bridges. I think this is okay. It's like, yeah, this is fine. It's a choice, and it's an okay choice. You can do it like this. Alright, so what do we cover? So the design, let's start with the design this time. I think the design is a little bit off. It's a kind of like forced 2 base map. Third base is not only super difficult, but not really rewarding. This one is also 7 minerals and very difficult. So there's gonna be some limitations on that map, on what strategies you can play and what you can do. And I don't think it's good for the map, right? The map should allow different styles and different game styles. And then this part I think has to be redesigned. There has to be something that is, you know, gives a purpose to all those blockages. I don't see that purpose now, and they can't be used for workers. So, and if the only purpose is just to get and attack the opponent from that side, from natural, it's not good really, because no one is gonna do it. It's too narrow, and you will have defense here. If it's here or here, it's the same defense. Okay, so design, I give it a... Yeah, I think at this stage I give it a 5 on design because it's missing quite a few ideas. I think the expansions have to be redesigned or something has to be redesigned here. There are a lot of gaps, so did I say 6 or 5? I think, yeah, let's give it a 6. I think it's a good start. I mean, I don't know, the map looks good, but I think there are just some conceptual things that are wrong here on the bases layouts, where they are, and this part. So a 6 on the design, as I think it could be interesting, but it requires improvements. Gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 6 too. I think up to this point it's fine. Some kind of you know, stuff like this is in general okay, but not just on this map. This doesn't make sense. I think this is the center is fine. I don't think there needs to be anything changed in the center. Yeah, these bases are a little bit too exposed probably. It's not like on Circuit Breaker when you get the low ground and you can cover it with your units because you have... It's just, yeah, something somewhere is missing here. I would tinker with these bases against this path, something around that. So 6-6 and aesthetics. It's a desert tile set, quite rough. I think it's good, it looks fine. I look at this kind of like the remainings of the bridge or like a crane. This is fine. I give it a... It's a complete map, of course, so I would give it maybe an 8 or 7.5. I think it's very nice looking overall. I'll give it an 8 maybe. Yeah, I think there are... I mean, stuff like this, but I don't think you can avoid them, right? So some, you know, you always want to make it as smooth as it can be. I mean, this kind of... I'm not sure I'm a fan of overmined cocons in general, but this will never look good, right? Map blockers like this. Okay, so sum it up. So 8, 6, and 6. So yeah, we're gonna go with 6.5, maybe a let's go with 7 here. I think it's there's a lot to be improved, right? So I'm gonna go with 6.5 now. You can also harass the 3-9 first from the higher. I get it, but it's not worth the effort, right? It's not worth the effort. If you can just harass this base, you can just, well, you will either drop tanks here, right? So then you don't care about this path. You don't want to destroy them ever, actually, if you want to drop tanks here, surely. But again, this base, you have to understand that this is the base that's gonna be taken as the last base on the map, okay? So every base will be taken on that map before someone's gonna take that base. And at that point, harassing it is pretty much irrelevant, right? Or it's not the last base, but it's like the 5th base in TVP. It's like a 5th base in ZVP. Everyone's gonna take these bases first, right? If any. So so harassing of it is not gonna play a vital role. By that moment, you know, the game is gonna be on different terms. You have carriers flying around and storm drops and stuff like this. So yeah, defender will not want to destroy them because they will not bother. No one's gonna bother to open a path that doesn't really give them justice. You have shadows and stuff. So that's my view. All right. So we ended up with. I think it's a 6.5 at this point. And it's not to downplay it. It's just I think with improvements it could be an 8 or a 9 or maybe even a 10 if the idea how, you know, it gets implemented for the destroying buildings and X gets there. So my honest opinion is just I don't think it works now. I don't think it serves the purpose. So yeah. Alright, where do we have the map? Freakling, it's not under you, it's under Stalzerk. So we're gonna give it 6.5. We're gonna be a bit rough now because I think map has got great potential. Looks very good, but the X structures path are meaningless. So they have to be redesigned, possibly with some concept around expansion, semi-island expansion. I think that's fine, and then you can probably use this this 3 and 9 o'clock bases. Again, I would just re-implement the whole part here. I would reconsider this. This doesn't serve the purpose at current design. All right, so we have another one, Sanctuary. So we have some Diablo action here by Jungle Terrain and Minerals. So we have another collaboration here. Very nice. BruderMaps.net. Check it out. It's inspired by Philip J. Fry's Barzak, another 4-player map. So apparently this gentleman has created a map that inspired Jungle Terrain and Minerals, maybe edited or so. By the way, that center looks so like Fighting Spirit, right? I know it's not, but it's just kind of like, no, it doesn't look like Fighting Spirit, what I'm talking about. It's just because it's jungle, everything looks like Fighting Spirit. So forget what I said. All right, so we have, once again, what's the name? Sanctuary. Is this under minerals? No, it's under where do we have sanctuary? Is this a new map that I don't have on the list here? Sanctuary. Serenity. I don't have that. Okay, I'm gonna put it under minerals. So minerals, you're getting a new map, which is 4-player Sanctuary. I probably have, you probably added that map as a part of an update or something like that. Okay. Open backdoors are impossible PvZ period. Yeah, I'm not saying to do open backdoors, not what I mean, not at all. This is jungle terrain, alright. Oh, there is, oh, it is there. I'm blind, thank you very much. It is there, I actually see it. Alright, jungle terrain from Chile. So it's the first map from Chile. Let's just jump straight into it. So, Sanctuary, alright. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is 9. Okay, so let's look at the symmetry here. So again, it's kind of like, yeah, so it's a similar idea as on the previous map. So you get these 3 bases, main, natural, and then kind of like very poor man's edition 3rd base with 6 minerals only. And from there you basically don't get a 4th base easily. It's you only get relatively difficult 3rd bases. I'm not saying no, they are not the worst. They are not the worst. Let me put it this way. Although it's a little bit tough, I think, with that high ground separating them. That sounds a bit nasty. Yeah, and the ramp going to that high ground. So I would say okay-ish 3 base. Actually not so easy. Actually, yeah, not so easy 3rd base. So a map is going to be rather tough on the macro side, 3rd and 4th base. Alright, and then we have those bases again, 12, 3, 6 and 9, which are kind of shared bases. One player gets it with the high ground, the other one gets it with a bridge, and we have that you know, rotational asymmetry or whatever we call that. From here we have okay, some nice bridges, small bridge, big bridge concepts, plus this backdoor to the base. I think it's okay. And then, okay, we have another high ground. So there are plenty of paths. In theory, in practice though... Can this be easily locked? Yeah. No, there are plenty of paths. I think it's fine. I like it. The amount of paths is just enough, I feel like. If there's like one path less, like for example, you know, one of those or this, then I think it would be too locked, but it's okay. Alright, so this is how the map plays out. Then we have a big center with some buildable and unbuildable terrain, that seems like. So yeah, you can do proxy here and whatever you like as a player. So that's good. I think it's good if there is some you know, opportunity for building buildings. I think maps that are completely locked out, like, you know, they completely lock out the middle, and we have maps like this. The map in the best of the best, the 4-player map with pocket expansion, DS Syria, whatever. That one actually you can't build anywhere. So not only that map has got this expansion where you can, you know, take a pocket expansion, but there's no way to proxy on that map. So that even further, you know, cements the idea of going macro there. Anyway, so I think this is good. This is fine if you can build some stuff, not necessarily everywhere, but you know, just allow some other strategies. Alright, so we have this mains here. Mains are kind of like polypoid mains, very much like polypoid. So you get some high ground vision blockers, but then you get some visible parts. Wow, this doesn't look too good. It's kind of like glued here. Alright, I'm not sure if this fits very well aesthetically, but okay, I get the idea. This is to, you know, not put tanks here, obviously. Alright, well, this is something. I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, so design, it's a concept we've seen before many times. It's another, you know, another variation of the same concept. And for 4-player maps, obviously, it is what it is, right? There are only as many permutations you can get on a quarter of the map, right? And that's why one-on-one maps require more creativity, because in one-on-one map you have to make at least half of the map, right? That is kind of different from other half of the map. Here you do a quarter and you replicate that quarter 4 times. So actually from that perspective, you may think that you know, 2-player maps are more complex than 4-player maps, and they are. Okay, not much to talk about this map. I think everything is okay with it. it's this design. It's fine. You know, I will not say this should be a bigger center or close. It has some features. It's a big open center. There are some blockers here. There are some bridges here. It's fine. It can be tested and played. Some of the small bridges like this tend to be somewhat annoying, but I think it's okay in this position because there's a big bridge next to it. So no complaint. Naturals are fine. I'm not sure about walling here, but I guess the map maker has to test it, that it is possible for Protoss to wall against Zerg. Basically, you can't make a map that doesn't allow walling as Protoss versus Zerg, because Protoss has to make fast expansion. If Protoss is not allowed to make a safe fast expansion, then it's not a good map, I can tell you. That's too much imbalance. So, but those positions look a little bit tricky, so something to be tested. If you can actually make like a pylon, fort, gate, and then have not too many holes, and also consider Hydra Bust, of course. So I think it's fine. All right, let's get into this. So how the map looks like. Yeah, personally I don't like stuff like this. I think it looks odd. But on the other hand, I think some of the other places here are looking pretty neat. So it's a blend of, I would say, very nice looking parts of the map versus not so great looking parts of the map. What's the idea here? Okay, you can wall like this, I guess. All right. And here like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, my goodness, that's fine. It's fine. It can be like this. So on the aesthetics part, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 or 8, I would say. It's not a stunningly beautiful map, but it serves the purpose. I think it's fine enough. It has got some places I just don't like. So I don't think this looks so good, right? I don't think this looks so good. So there are some places I don't like, but then you know, other places I think they are absolutely fine. They look okay. Maybe some details fixing. Yeah, 7.5 for now. But again, it's not so important, right? Don't get me wrong. The final score can be that you can have a 7 map, and I can still see a map that can be a 10 if it's so great, right? So 7.5 design. It's another very standard design, another variation of it, you know, with some extra access to the high ground. It's a pretty tough map, I think, for third base and so. So design, I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's an okay design, but gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 7.5, because I feel this base is a little bit too exposed. I think it's gonna, you know, again, the map where you're gonna see a lot of 2-base play with very tough third base. This is very exposed from 2 sides at least, so there could be some improvements, I think, between this third base and fourth base. Yeah, just as an idea. I'm not sure exactly how it would work, right? But so 7.5, 8, and 7. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 or an 8 to this map. What did we give the other map just earlier? That I feel was very similar. Did we give it 7.5 or an 8? What was the map? What was the map, guys? Mystery box? Was mystery box? I think so. Where's mystery box? 7.5. All right. So I think it's a comparable map to mystery box. So we're gonna go with 7.5 here too. Yeah, 7.5. So what comments could we really give to that map? I think some consideration around third base maybe to make it slightly safer, easier to take. That's an idea, I think, because again, there's no other third base than the Mineral Island to take, right? Everything else is crazy. For like ZVP, it's also pretty tough. Yeah, so I think it would help Zergs versus Protoss versus Zerg. Everyone will be happy about a bit safer base, I feel like. Yeah, something somewhere. Maybe some blockers here, like, you know, some terrain here, so it's not so exposed. Or maybe the ramp should be a bit smaller from that side, so it cannot be so easily used for attack, something like this, yeah. And then maybe some visual adjustments, and here I'm gonna say the unpassable terrain from main over natural, etc. There's some places there. All right, GG. GG on that one. Good. We move on. So we have 4 more 4-player maps. Serenity. Another map made by Minerals. So man, guys on fire. We can see a lot of action from Minerals. Welcome to Serenity Station. Okay, so the place platform is in fact a station. A comfortable map, we will see, for anyone who enjoys a warm, fuzzy blanket. Alrighty. Made by Minerals for New Worlds Map Contest First Edition. Okay, so is that his official submission? Kind of like, you know, is that the map he would go for if he was to put only one? Hey, Asariel. Wow. Let's check it out. Let's see what it is. So this is officially by Minerals, right? Let's see him here. Minerals with Serenity, yes. So this is this map. Let's go Terran and see what Mr. Minerals brought to the table. Black Ship Wall. Okay, so let's start with some. Okay, so we have this basis of 4 again. So we have, yeah. So this is the pattern here, right? So every player gets these 4 bases. Although some of them seem like they're a bit closer, some of them seem to be further, or is it just me? No, I think it's fine. So we have this, okay, so we have 4 quarters of this, and then we have a huge center with some high ground like this. Okay, this is though, you know, you can walk through here, so it's not so relevant, I think, as a blocker. Only mildly annoying, but if it's okay, no complaints about it. Then we have a little bit of like terrain blockers here around the map, so not making this so. I think it's good that there are some ideas like this. They always make a game more interesting. It's of course difficult to say what is the right amount of those and so. Okay, let's do a journey. So we start in our base here in the bottom left corner. We have a nice 9 minerals. Pretty okay main. I think it's fine. Also some high ground here, as we see very often. And then this is visible, so that's a bit easier to defend. Then we have some eggs again, so some opportunity to hold the ramp here, which again is fine. You know, gives some more variety of builds possible, I think. I don't know how tight that is though. That would have to be tested, but okay, so it's not really wallable. I guess like maybe like this for my 2-pore Wraith. Okay, and we have 8 minerals. Okay, so again, Mr. Minerals liking his minerals and adding some extra mineral patches around the map. As that is of course his brand, his own brand minerals with Geyser here. So okay, all fine here. No harm about that natural. We have a geyser to the right side, so that has to be fixed, right? You can't have geysers to the right, it has to be to the left. And here we have a geyser to the bottom, so that is a significant issue, so please remove that, make it to the top or to the left. So you have to work out the design here around the base. Why are we getting 4 pulled? Mr. Zerk. Okay, so going back, so here, and then we move on here, and then we can build whatever everywhere we like, so it's very easy for Terran. And then we have this perpetual low ground, so the whole map is pretty much low ground. There's no single high ground on this map. I just realized that, guys. Everything is low ground on this map, except the middle, which is not. And personally, like, what else we have? We have like Optimizer, right, which is also flat. But Optimizer has got some ridges for drops. It has got this, you know, funky patterns here where you can kind of like attack from top and bottom with expos. You know, Optimizer being flat has got a lot of spice to it already, right? So it kind of compensates. And I think flat maps, I like at least some parts of them being high ground, because StarCraft is a positional game. You know, you can create positions, defensive, offensive positions, and if you take out any high grounds and stuff, it's just, you know, it's just a little bit more boring game in my view. You take out some out of the game, right? So I would like to see some terrain variety, I guess, somewhere. Could be 4th bases, or could be maybe middle, or I think this is too flat in that sense, if you get my point. You know, it just makes many things more difficult, many things more easy. Yeah, I'm not gonna be talking much about it, you get a point. So, again, standard map. Middle, by the way, is unbuildable, as I understand. Oh, you can actually build here. Ah, that's fine. Ah, it's okay. You can also build here. So there are some turret locations everywhere. Okay. Good for Terrans, I guess. Not so many though. I think I just found a random stuff. Here it is. Okay, so let's go to the verdict, to our scoreboard here. Let's check chat quickly if any interesting comments here. Yeah, idea was to make the most boring standard map. Yeah, but I don't think it's just so standard map when it's so flat, right? But of course it is standard. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not, because it is. So design, I think I would like to see something more here. I feel like expansions are okay, but again, like Zerg versus Terran expansions are super hard now if you don't allow any high ground expansions. So I think some high ground would fix a lot on this map. That is in probably this 4th basis being high ground. I think that would be the obvious choice for me. So make this basis high ground somehow, so Zergs can take them versus Terran. So you know, yeah, it just changes a lot of stuff, and maybe make it a bit more accessible. So no, this base would be high. Yeah, okay, so it's fine. Yeah, not more, just high ground. That probably feedback. So okay, design. I think for now it's a 6. It's a standard design, but it's a little bit flawed in my opinion. It has got some weaknesses. So 6 on that one. Aesthetics. Map is complete, so you know, for that you get 5 immediately, right? If the map is complete, you get a 5 immediately, guys. You know, so there are no empty stuff and stuff like this. That's my score. So you get 5 plus how much? Some areas I like, some are just a little bit too empty. And the middle looks a little bit too boring for me. Something is missing here. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5, 7 maybe. 7 on design. Sorry, on aesthetics. 7, 6 on design. Thanks for the sub, hit him up. 2 months in a row, Kappa. Of course, I like it. Thank you very much for the subscription. So, and gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 to. So I think I'm gonna give it 6.5 to this map overall. Yeah, 6.5. It's a standard map. It can be played like it is, but it has got some ideas I'm not particularly keen on. So 6.5, and I'm gonna say map needs some high ground, probably at 4 bases. Maybe some more work on the visual side. Middle looks too boring, kinda, and you know, middle combined with the access to the player zones, kinda is just a plain space platform. So there's something missing. And gases in a natural basis have to be fixed. Yeah, so these are the comments here. 6.5 for Serenity. That's my opinion here. Okay. Yeah, but at least don't make them to the left or to the bottom, right? So I understand, but it's, I think more important is that you get free workers on it than that it cannot be sniped by Muta, or that it can be sniped by Muta, and so right. So okay, so another one, Terraform. Our planet will one day host beautiful vistas and sparkling ocean views. All right, Terraform. I like the description. Until then, be a part of the historical first wave of pioneers. Plan your vacation today. Very nice description. Puts you just on that sandy beaches of that planet that is gonna be a beautiful hotel resort at some point, where will be jungles and oases and water flowing and stuff. So I like the vibes, guys. I like the storytelling here. So Terraform. Let's see who's the outro for that one. Terraform. Spider. So, oh, first map from ECS Spider. Actually, I also have the Angle Maker, but did we have that map? No, so there's another map listed under Mr. Spider called Angle Maker. But I don't have that in here, so I'm not sure if it's somewhere else or we have missed it, but I don't have it in my catalog. So maybe it's not part of the package. So we're gonna be reviewing the first map from Mr. EC Spider, Terraform 026, that is Terraform 037. So we have a more recent version than the one we had on the list from the topic. Black ship wall all the way, power overwhelming, show me the money. Okay, so let's start with the concept here. So concept is again 4 base quarters of the map. So each player getting a natural expansion and then a gas expansion, 4th or 3rd base, depending on what you play. We have this pretty okay size main with some Palmas and stuff here. Oh, so the terraforming has started actually, right? So I like it. So again, this is a part of the story, right? We're starting to see some trees. We have some couples where we're growing some additional vegetables, maybe tomatoes for the tourists. I like it. This is good. So we're rebuilding that whole planet here. Some of the work has happened. Some of them, of course, is failed because of this oil patch. Okay. So we move on. We have our main base here at our little oasis. We move on to the natural base. This minerals look a little bit far, or maybe this is just me. Again, gases, I guess, have to be fixed. I can already see that. So we have some gases to the right here. I mean, this is maybe okay. Yeah, some gases to the back. So again, gas issues here, also on this map. From here we have a pretty narrow choke here. I think it's fine. Is this the same narrow as this? Okay, no, probably not, but it's okay. Yeah, alright, and then we move out here, so we have a, I would say, a rather simple, easy 3rd base to take, and I think it's good. It's just 6 minerals, so it shouldn't be overly difficult. What is this? What are those? Are those some blockers? No, they're just something here. Okay, and here we have, okay, I guess this doesn't matter, I hope so. These lines here, so there are some lines here, preparing for some of the terraform action. And then the 4th base. The 4th base is a little bit out there. It has got this ramp and it's parked kind of like this path. So there is a little bit of a distance to the 4th base. So it's not the easiest, but I think it's okay. I think it's definitely okay. I wouldn't be complaining. Also, there's some in between here for army and building. So for terrace, this is especially fine. All right, so I think the base layout is okay. I don't have any, other than the gases. I think this is fine. I don't see any imbalances with positioning. There's enough area for static defenses. So let's move on. So from here we move on to the whole middle of the map. That is again like a one big high ground island, like a ring, and then there is a low ground and high ground again. So if there is some chase going through the middle, there are some opportunities to fight back if you achieve the high ground. But it's a very easily accessible, you know, center of the map. Armies can run freely and easily here without too much constraint. I like this. This is nice. This is neat, guys. I mean, again, it's a terraform map, so the jungle has just started building here. These are nice. I like when people, you know, make those complete kind of like structures from different dots. So this is fine. This is neat. So I like the concept. It's like a jungle expansion here. You know, at first you would think those don't fit so well, but when you think that whole map is built like this and it's terraform, then it all starts to add up pretty nicely. Alright, so any comments to this high ground? Not really, I think this is fine. It can be played like this. I wouldn't say it's bad or good. It's just, it's a type of, you know, it's gonna provoke something. I can of course talk about advantages and disadvantages of this, but it doesn't really matter. The map, it has to play itself first, right, to see exactly how it plays out. Okay, so verdict. This is again a pretty standard map. The 4 base layout is okay. The thing to remember, of course, is that it's not so many bases actually on this map, because you get only four per player, and there's no like in between bases. But I think it's fine. It's creating some kind of dynamics for late game, where it's not so easy to, you have to kind of like hop onto that next island and start securing it from scratch. Okay, I actually like this map. So visuals, aesthetics, call them whatever you like. I think it's again one of these maps where I see a combination of some things I really like a lot. I think these are lovely. These are definitely good looking, especially in the context of the map. But then we have stuff like this rocks here, or this lines here, or this very kind of like rough terrain in the main base. Like, oh, this is like maybe a little bit better, but this kind of like this main looks a bit like it's missing something. But so I think I'm kind of like I think there are some things that I don't exactly like this rocks and some parts of it, but most of it I like a lot. Like this one, I don't know if I like it. It's just my taste, right? The lines. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not 100% with it, but I'm 90% with it. Okay. So I think if this was like without the flaws, I could even give it like a 9, because I think it's a nice creative idea with the terraform and using donuts from other maps on a, because this is not a desert tile set, right? And making this actually look decent, I think it's a good challenge, and this has been definitely achieved here. So let's give it an 8.5 on aesthetics, just because I like it so much. Could be a 9, could be a 9.5 if everything would be fitting, but there are some more ugly places here too. This one also looks ugly. I know this is a spotter, but maybe you can do it differently. So stuff like this. So 8.5 on the visuals. Design, I think these bases are well put here. I don't see any particular issues. There's some high ground action, low ground. I like design. I think it deserves definitely an 8. Yeah, I'll give it an 8 on the design. It's because, again, it's a standard design, so you kind of can't get more than 8 if it's just a design we've seen already 1,000 times, right? So you get a max because I think the expansions are the right distances and everything looks okay here. So 8.5 gameplay. I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. I think this map gets a strong 8 from me, and I think it could be a strong. Yeah, it could be stronger. It could be 8.5 or a 9 even, if everything was great here. So very nice map. Let's give it an 8. Let's give it an 8, guys. What was this? Who was the owner here? Let's give it an 8. What was the Terraform? Right, of course. How could I forget the name? Where is it? Terraform, where are you? Oh, the spider, yeah. So, I give it an 8. I think it's a very nice standard map. Some donuts around main natural should be improved. I like the jungles and constructions around the middle. Gases needs to be fixed. Yeah, I think this is it. I think it's just a very nice standard map with small improvements needed. So I give it an 8. I think it's very nice. So, all right, few more maps to go. Let me quickly check the chat here. What do we have? What do we have? Yeah, it's a standard competition, right? It's okay, you know. Again, you don't have to. You can take what I say with a grain of salt. I don't mind. I'm okay. You don't have to be, you know. You don't have to consider this that if I say it's an 8, that it's the end of the world. All right, the Dark Knight. Wow, what is that map? Are those like some kind of buildings here? Oh, this looks exciting. Wow. There's some creativity going into that one. Okay, Katie Man. I think it's a brother from Korea, right? Katie Man, yes, Korea. And so we actually had 2 maps from him. One map we only gave a 4, the Belt of Fate we didn't like so much, but then we actually gave 8.5 to Peril, the only map so far that received such a high score. It was a 2-player map that I really liked. At least it looked nice. It could be completely imbalanced, but from the look of it, I really liked it. I thought it was a very, very interesting new design there. So the Dark Knight is the 3rd map from that gentleman. Let's see what we have here. So we have the Batman map, right? So there's a Batman symbol, a nice bat here. Actually looks very neat, both on the minimap and also in here. I really think this looks good. Wow, this looks nice and clean. It's like, you know, yeah, pretty nice looking. All right, so standard things first. So the symmetry is that we get those 4 bases per player that are kind of spread. So it's like you have this 3 bases with a natural, and then you get this far away 4th base. So that's the pattern we can see here. 3 bases, natural, second natural, very poor 5 minerals only here, and then a 3rd base that is somewhere out there. All right, before we jump into this, guys, let's look at this beautiful constructions. Wow, this is amazing. So we have actual skyscrapers here with some antennas on top. Wow, this must be like the neatest thing I have seen. I need to check it out with an SCV. God lord, this looks like a real city. Oh, I'm really excited about the looks of this map. Look at that building. The entrances, the shops, the windows, and the ventilation. Wow, guys, I'm impressed by this. I know, I haven't played any use map settings. Yeah, I guess this has got some collision boxes around it, but I like how it looks like. I mean, you can say whatever you like, but this to be a Batman map with a freaking Batman symbol and buildings and antennas and stuff, I really like how it looks like. And okay, maybe I haven't seen that much in my life. I haven't played so many use map singers, but I really like it. I really like it as a casual map tester. I really like it. I think it's and also I really like it because it's not too much, right? You know, these are big parts of the map, but when you think about it, you know, they don't look too monumental. They don't like take out too much of the map. Yeah, it's not so blocking. I think it's okay. Okay, got it. Really neat. Okay, so let's check it out on the actual map there. So we have this main bases again with high ground, so a little bit exposed mains, you know, different lift and shift, kind of like shuffle elevator actions. Drop ships will be very strong here. You can just put your units here and, you know, protect it. So so a lot of aggressive action here. Plus we can see actually that the natural is just wide open. I mean, what is this natural? Like, this is what you get to hold if you want to hold, or you have to hold here, I guess. But you get this amazing, like this huge natural, basically. And you get it with every position. So these naturals are a little bit too much for my taste. Really heavy on defense here, and also this very, very wide, main choke, which is again, you know, too wide to my taste. All right, and then from here we have this pretty much worthless third base that is basically on the you know, kind of like center of the map already. You could look at it as the sort of center of the map. So extremely insecure and only 3 minerals. And then you get this third base, which is kind of with these 2 paths, and it's also just 7 minerals and a gas. So I think we can go to the verdict here straight from here. So this map is so 2 base and it's so exposed that and also it's all flat, you know, terrain. So despite the looks of it, so let me put it, I love the look. I'm gonna give it 9 on the looks. I think this is for me a fresh concept. I really like how it looks like. The Batman looks cool. Everything looks great around the map. So visuals, it gets a 9. Design though, it gets a freaking 5. I mean, there are so many things that has to be fixed. This has to be fixed completely. Because why not? This is worthless. This is too far. This is just, it's like 2 base play with very exposed mains. So it's gonna be like 2 base, TVZ 2 base. I'm gonna make 8 racks and I'm only gonna try to drop you and pressure you with marines. PVT, I'm just gonna get my 3rd base and just gonna be gateway man because it's all flat everywhere. No high ground, narrow paths for Terran to move out here. I don't know, and no 3rd base for Terran ever, right? So it's kind of like it's just gonna build this boring game styles, which you know, basically not allow you to do anything else than just go 2 base and either be super heavy on harassment or just build up a big army and try to move out and kill your opponent. So design is not too good, sorry to say, but maybe we can give it a 5.5. Gameplay, as I already said, I mean, I think the design is not too good and gameplay is also not gonna be so good. So on gameplay, it can be fun to play those 2 base, but this is too wide. It's gonna get a 6 on game. So it's gonna, let's do like yeah, I think aesthetics are great. 9, 5.5, and 6, or something like this. So 20. Yeah, I'm gonna give it maybe 6. It's too early for this map to work. So 6 on that map is all I can give to it. Yeah. Let's write it down. So 6 on here. Alright, so natural bases have to be redesigned as they are way too open for a map like this. 3rd bases are impossible, especially with 5 minerals. Whole map is low ground, making no positional play available. Yeah, so this is basically it, right? I think it's a beautiful map, it's a cool concept, but game-wise I don't like it too much. It's too crazy for my taste, at least. So 6 is a score here. just because I think with easy fixes, of the third base and some natural work, it could easily get to like 7.5 and 8 as a standard map, right? 7.5 and 8 as a standard map, but then it doesn't really bring anything fresh to the table other than just looking good. So we have to be consistent here with how we evaluate the maps. Wavelet. Wavelet, is that how I read? So let function over y equals I divided by 2 multiplied by function of wn is conj is what is I don't know the English abbreviation here. Where is okay e to power of minus a multiply by e to power of I omega. Okay, I'm trying to figure that out. So what's the secret code here? Function of, is this the abstract? Is this the I to power 2 equals -1? Are we here in the abstract world, or is there conjunction complex number? All right. Okay, it is a wavelet function. Okay, let's check it out, guys. Wavelet function. So are we just talking that one? Okay, so just like this. So do we see that on the, do we see that pattern, guys? I'm just checking here. Do we see that pattern here? Okay, so that's the wavelet. Is that these are the wavelets, right? Okay, got it. So it's like you have to look at top to the bottom. It's like, so the middle of it is like the wave kind of like, okay, got it. Got it. So Frickling, version 202, decoration concept Crystal Drag. So we have collaboration again, additional deco work, and backfixing Frickling. So we have another map from our friend from Germany here. So it's the third submission from him. So let's see. So far we had cellular automation. We only gave it a 4. The map was incomplete. We get an 8.5 on the bridging the gap. Wow, this must be one of the 2 8.5s we given. So very high score. I don't remember that exactly anymore, but looks like it has got some crazy score there. All right, let's check it out. Black Sheep Wall. So Wavelet. All right, so we have 4-player map. So again, we have 3 expansions per player. This time we get a third with gas, but only 6 minerals. So not too many minerals here. 6, 7, 9. So not too heavy on the mineral side. And then we get those 2 additional bases. Like circuit breaker kind of bases, right? With yeah, not really, but you get a point. On 3 and 9 o'clock. So there is some positional play available when you add, you know, it's just not Simulacra 3 bases, but you can get this additional base. All right, so we have that. So we have a nice main. No comments about the main. It's okay. We have a nice natural, pretty big, but I think it's okay. Protoss can build here. This looks fine. No comments to that one. So a pretty poor base here. It's 7 minerals. That's not a normal base. It's not poor, come on. So we get out of this. We have some unbuildable terrain, but it's low ground with no high ground coming from other side. So we can move our army here big as Protoss versus Zerg, or Terran versus Protoss. We also get a nice rally point location between 3 bases. I like that this third base has got only a small ramp to hold. This looks very nice. I think this is with very good taste and just enough difficult. Consideration of a 7th mineral here. I don't know. Maybe a 7th mineral, 6 minerals. Assuming that you're gonna be on 3 bases for a long time, I guess could be a consideration to add 1 more here. Only 2,000 on gas only. There's some additional minerals. So okay, all minerals are a little bit more, seems like. Okay, so more minerals. But how much is it really? It's not even 1 mineral patch more, right? When you add it up together. So 2,000 on gas, interesting choice. What does it hit mostly? It mostly hit Terran and Terran late. Well, yeah, Terran late game, not so much really, because Terran doesn't really need that much gas after the 3rd gas. Protoss versus Zerg, surely. So Protoss a bit weaker here. Maybe in later stages needing that gas. So I'm not sure if I think I would just leave it at 5k. I don't think it really helps them up to be more interesting. Not with this kind of a design where it's you just have to go for the 4th base. There are no some tricky fancy expansions, extra gases, 2 gases in main, and so to really make it 2k. I'm not sure why. I don't see a good reasoning other than helping the already stronger races again. Like Protoss versus Zerg. Protoss is gonna be weaker probably because of this. Well, Zerg is gonna be weaker versus Terran if they plan to take that base, but it's a tough Zerg base. Okay, so this, then we have this base here. The only feedback I would have here, I would just make this ramp a little bit closer, so we can make some static defense as Zerg with Sun Cans or Protoss with Cannons, and you can kind of hold that ramp. I would do that, so it's not like so far away from actual base. I'll probably move that ramp to be a little bit closer to this, so some static defense can hold both the mineral line and the ramp. I think that'll be a nice addition. And then let's look at the map. So other than that, we have this tunnel from the middle, which I think, okay, no Ragnazar Skate, there are only 2 in the middle, so hopefully not gonna lock any expansions, so we can survive those 2 here. Very nice looking. Oh my god, I really like the looks of this map, guys. This looks aesthetically beautiful. The lines, everything looks very nice here. Looks like a road, like a pavement here or something like that. But let's think about strategically how this plays out. So this third base is okay to take most of the time for any race. Zergs, I think if we make those expansions here, this could also be a third base for Zerg players in ZVP. Maybe a little bit too far. No, I guess no. No, this is okay. I think this is okay. I'll just fix the ramps here. Yeah, I think it's good. I think everything is fine about it. So this may be the best standard map we've seen so far. With the way how it's built, at least. I think I really like it. I actually really like this map. Alright, so visuals. Absolutely beautiful. Very nice, very neat, you know, no bugging, those kind of like, you know what I mean, right? The Dotas, they fit very nicely this middle with the lines, very nice. Everything is just enough, not too much, not too little. Small things here and there, but really, really, really good looking map. I think this is probably the weakest part of the map. Maybe this could still be somehow improved. It looks like a little bit of like a, you know, like if you remove this part of the map still looks great. If you add them, I think add them and make them really look nice and just fix the ramp a little bit. There could be something more here. This is also very big. Maybe make it smaller. I don't know. But it's still, I really like how the map looks like. It's just, you know, very, very well put. Everything fits together brilliantly. So I'm gonna give it a, definitely a 9. Could this be a 10 for me? I think this is not a 10, but it's a strong 9. I think if that can be fixed, make it even more interesting, that would be a 9.5 in my view on views. Just because I think for 10, you need some kind of, you know, like really beautiful arranged things together. This is just all end-to-end beautiful. But there's no place that really makes my jaw drop, and sometimes you can make something. Maybe here you can do, you know, just do some more, man. So I'll give it a 9 on aesthetics so far. Very nice looking. Design on this, how the bases are distributed, the amount of minerals. I would maybe consider adding 1 mineral here. Again, fourth base is very difficult, so I think it could actually benefit 1 more mineral here. The gases are fine. Oh, this is gas to the left. Yeah, but I guess this is no, sir. Oh, this is also to the left, and these are to the right. Okay, yeah. So I don't know how this can be fixed. It is what it is, right? It's a bit okay. Maybe it's fixed with the dollars, right? Well, if it's fixed with the dollars, I think it is, right? Then it's probably actually okay. This is probably okay. More interesting. I know I like some kind of like, you know, some kind of a structure or some kind of, you know, something like you made the bridges in the other map. They were beautiful. I think they were cool. Again, it's me being picky, right? I think it's fine as it is. I'm just trying to distinguish a 9 from a 10. I think 10 for me is when everything is as great as it is here, plus there are places in the map that are just beautiful by themselves, right? Like you bit some kind of something that is just looking greatly, like a composition of Dudas that, you know, is just looking greatly. So anyway, so I give it a 9 for now. I think with this is the weakest part of the map, that would be a 9.5, and then if you really make something somewhere looking great, I don't know, here, you know, in the impossible terrains, you can add some things, but it looks really good. I think it looks really good. I really like it. I don't think you have to change it. Look, right? Don't be like, oh, Koget said it could be better. That maybe it can be better. Maybe it's completed and that should be it, right? It's just yeah, there's no jaw dropping moment kind of like for me here, but everything is great. Design, small adjustments, but I give it, it's a standard design again. But I like the, like, you know, the middle here, and some You know what I mean? Some expos 3 and 9, because depending on the positions of the players, the game will play differently. So this is good. That is not completely symmetrical of like 12 and 6 also. So I like this kind of concept. I think this is good. So design, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. So I have 9 and 8.5. And sorry, I have a piece of hair in my mouth. Oh, sorry, disgusting. I think gameplay could also be an 8.5. So I think I'm between 8.5 and a 9 here for this map. Definitely for standard map measures, I think this could be a 9. I like how it plays out. There's some, you know, you can maneuver around the map. You can go through these paths here. You can harass, you can defend, you can expand, you can timing probably somehow because it's low ground. It's not so much high ground, so you can also go timings. Everything can be played on this map. Dropship play is probably not so strong, but there's also some cool dropping ideas here, I guess. Behind minerals here. This can be harassable. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. So I think, yeah, 8.5 or a 9. 8.5 or a 9 for the map. I think if I give it a 9, then this is the highest score we've given. This map deserves the highest score. It definitely deserves the highest score for a 4-player map, and we've given 4-player maps 7.5, so we're gonna give it a 9. I think it's the best 4-player map so far, at least from how it looks like. I haven't, honestly, I don't know how other people have scored this map before, but I think this is so far the best. If I were to give any feedback here, is to work a bit more on the 3 and 9 o'clock bases. I would say move the ramp closer to the building location, so static defense can help defending it, like SimCity. Maybe resize 3 and 9 also. I think they're too big for being just base. They're like unnecessarily too big, maybe. Maybe it's okay like this. I think it's fine. It's a nice map. I really like pretty much 99% about this map. So it surely deserves a high score. Yeah, I think it's a nice map. So we have first 9. Congratulations! It's the first 9. We haven't had that. And that was the last map from here. So we go back to Trinity. I think that was the map we skipped last time. So let's check it out again. So this is Mr. Minerals again with Trinity. By the way, let me see here. So we're missing one map here. Yeah, so we haven't checked Trinity. And we haven't checked that one map from EC Spider, Angle Maker. I did not get it in my pack, so we're gonna check it out if we can find it after this map. Wow, is this a 3-player or 4-player map? Wait, what? Is this a 3-player? Wait, 1, 2, 3. Free-player. Oh, Trin. Oh yeah, it's a 3-player. Oh yeah. Oh my God, I confused. I forgot we moved there. Yeah, it's a 3-player map. All right. What I was thinking about? I was in such a 4-player map train that I forgot we even had 3-player maps. Right. We only had 3-player we only had 3-player maps, guys. So we didn't get to review those much and what kind of characteristics are important in this kind of map. So all right. So now we have to drop our thinking about symmetry of a 4-player map. Now I have to look for some symmetry on a 3-player map. So we have a very interesting big main, really exposed main here. Also, this one is a bit more exposed for sure than this one, right? Yeah, so this is way more exposed than this. Oh my God! And this one also not so. So this 12 o'clock base is so much more exposed than the other bases. This is interesting. Okay. All right. I see. Alright, so I have some balance ideas already that like this base here. So first of all, main bases, this should be less exposed. Move these minerals a little bit to the up, move these minerals to the left. This is so exposed, much more than this base. Also, remember this is facing outwards on the map, so it's much easier to harass that part of the base than that part of the base where this is, kind of like from the bottom of the map, right? So it's always much more difficult when it's facing like the corner than other way. Same here. This is more difficult. This is the safest base by far, because not only you get your main that is you know, this is where you put your defensive structures. So you have, this is pretty much your secured area, and then your natural is also defending your main here. This is like the middle kind of like secure base, where it's kind of odd, it's kind of exposed, but you get the natural, but you also don't get any high ground here, which is interesting. Not putting high ground here makes this mineral line much safer than if there is high ground, so that's some kind of a balance idea here. And this is definitely the least safe base, because not only you get a high ground, you get a 360 around your Frickle mineral line. Again, think about it, you can't attack these minerals, you can't attack the gas. On that one, you can attack everything from all angles. This is a completely messed up position to start versus TVP, TVZ, also PVZ. It's much harder than others. So there is some rebalancing needed around how those naturals and how those mineral bases are put. Also, we have a gas to the left here. We know that doesn't work. We have a gas to the top here. So there are some gas to the left, gas to the top. So there's some messed up gas mining too. All right, but moving on. So we leave our main and we go to our natural base. From our natural base, there is a third base that is okay, pretty much. You could take it. You get, say it's just 6 minerals though, and it is exposed. Just very little bit of terrain building, covering it. But what is this? So there are islands. Interesting. Okay, so reach islands with 8 minerals and the mineral field blocking command centers from being floated here for free. So and then we have this another base. So it's like 5 bases per player, right? 5 bases per player. So every guy gets a natural and kind of 3 bases. The mineral only, the island, and then this far away. Okay, this is actually like, I don't even sure if this is probably more for this player than for the top player. So this player has got this far away 5th base, or whatever you call that. Right. So also for Zergs, I feel this is a bit of a nightmare, because their 3rd base, if this is their 3rd base, they get a pretty bad 3rd base with no gas and few minerals. If this is their 3rd base, then it's super far and super exposed, so very difficult to hold. So I think there are some issues on how the bases are built, not only on things like this, where, you know, different bases are just very much positioned differently for defense, but also the 3rd bases are a bit too weak or too far for like ZVP. Of course for Terran in TVP for sure, and so and so. So very exposed, but we have island bases, so actually, you know, this could be an idea that you just take island bases. And that's kind of like how you have to play the map, right? You have to take an island base and play from there. But 4 island bases on the map, 3 island bases on the map like this, plus this mineral base here. So you kind of like make a position where you take a 3rd on an island. I guess that's the idea. I don't think it's a bad idea, but you would need to see how it plays out, right? This is a very risky kind of like combination. Because, you know, one could think that, oh yeah, the idea of the map is you take this base and then you take an island and the 4th base. Well, then guess what? Then someone drops your base and kills both of your bases, because they drop this base and they deny mining here, right? So the risk you take of taking these 2 bases is far greater than reward, right? It's annoying to have island base inside. So maybe this could be like build structure here or something. I don't know. Oh, some errors here on the turrets. Okay, and then we have a huge center with some terrain blockers, not too many. I could see actually a bit more of terrain blockers here. I think this kind of centers are too exposed on a map like this. When you have a 3rd base that you expect to take, and again, it's a part of the center, I mean, do something that this is not just completely exposed. Like Fierce Sacred Breaker, you have a 3rd base like this, but then you have, you know, this whole 2 bridges. It's kind of like you get at least some area to work with. Here it's like completely open. So this is too open. This is too open. This may be too difficult. All right. Verdict. Graphics. The visuals. It could use some improvements. Again, some parts of it are nice. Like I like this part. I think it looks pretty okay. It's a mess, but it looks pretty okay. But I think it could use some work still. I mean, comparing to some of the maps we've seen that were, you know, extremely nicely looking end to end, this is definitely requiring some additional time to make it really look nice. So I think I'm gonna give it again, complete map, so it's a 5 already, and then we can give some extra points for some details. I will give it a 6.5 or maximum 7. Probably 6.5 at this point. I think it could use a lot more work actually on some of the parts like this. And so yeah, so let's give it a 6.5 on the looks. Then the design, I think it requires a lot of fixes, to be honest, guys. There's a lot of fixes around the like gases, minerals, high grounds, how the bases rotate, how which position is more imbalanced than other. So and then this bases and this base. I like islands, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're implemented fully correctly here. The way how they're built with combined with this third base, and so maybe like an island that is very easy to take and defend. That could be an idea, right? So make it an island, but make it very close to the base, and kind of, you know, you can reinforce it from your natural. I don't know, something like this. So on design, I'm gonna give it a 5.5. Sorry, I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's gonna create great games at this point. How it's made like now. So 5.5 and 6 on the visuals. Gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 6 too. I think it's a 2-player base that is very limited when it comes down to this island bases and so on. So I think it's too much. This also is too far. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5 overall. Score of 6.5. So I know it's not too. Yeah, 6.5 here is what I can suggest. But the feedback is that main and natural bases are very imbalanced comparing them when you compare them, and this is like significant differences of quality of defense. And so when compare them, the third base islands design should be changed. I don't think it makes sense that the island is on top of the third base, also of minerals. The third base is like impossible. You need to hold an island to hold the third base, otherwise you're getting harassed non-stop and stuff like this. So yeah, that's not so good. Maybe center could use some more terrain, be it high ground or something. Make it a bit more interesting, just a flat big center that can access everywhere. Yeah. Alright, so I think we have done it. Although we have skipped one map, so should we look for it now? Yeah. Python, yeah, I think Python is actually a still pretty interesting map when you think about it, guys, because Python offers it has got a big center that I think is maybe too big for some naturals, but again, and it has got a bit too insecure naturals for these days. I mean, also imbalanced positions there, but it has got the islands. I think islands are interesting. You know, the third base is kind of like too difficult, but then you get those faraway bases. So Python is an interesting map. It's an aggressive map, it's a harassment map, it's a 2-base map, but then you get the islands, which kind of make it 2.5 base with some build orders, and so and so. So I wouldn't say it's perfectly balanced for sure, but I think Python is a nice map actually. For a reason, it's been the most popular map for so many years, right? Okay, so let's do some quick summary here. Let me just do some Excel magic here, guys. So let's do the outro here. I'll be talking to you, and as we're talking, I'll be preparing the final report of the maps that we have went through here. So we have character here, we have this dude, we have crystal drag. So I'm just moving everything accordingly. Yep. No. And yeah, by the way, I still haven't seen the excuse me. I haven't seen the 2-player map from Spider. So if someone has found it and can just drop me a link in chat, we can also have a look at it. Yeah. Alright, well look guys, okay, we have that, and now we just need to do... Sorry, because my initial Excel file was you know, just a copy-paste from Team Liquid. I am now fixing it, so so we're gonna get everything in like a pivot table, and we can just, you know, have a look how it looks when we consolidate it, and who got, you know, most points and stuff like this. So bear with me for just a minute. It's gonna take me 2 minutes more. All right, so you can go and make some coffee or tea, or just get some water or snacks, and we're gonna announce the absolutely most unofficial winner of the new maps contest by Koget. Trinity, we also haven't checked, right? We skipped Trinity, I feel like. So that's another map that I can see from Minerals that we have not really considered. Was it that it was unfinished, or what happened that we haven't fixed it? All right. So this goes like this. Goes like this. This is Minerals. This guy, free maps. Fricklink. Spider. Oh! Wait a second, I messed something up. What did I mess up? Wait a second. Did I actually score that map before? No. Yeah, did I really mess something up? What is that score? I have one score that I don't know. Whose score is it? I was just moving things around and okay, let me check that map. Let me check that one map. Okay, so I can see there is the link. Let's check that one last map then. Oh, that's the angle maker. Okay, but we haven't seen that map, right? We haven't really looked at that map. We're just looking at the preview that Franklin just sent in chat. Actually, a pretty interesting map. I guess we should check it out. Do we have the map rather than a picture? No, I didn't look at that map. No, I'm talking about the angle maker. What did we look at that map? No, we didn't look at that map. What are we talking about? No, we didn't review that map. It's not in the folder here. And also the pictures sent me, I haven't seen that map before. I can't find the map file. Alright, then we're not gonna review it. Screw this. Sorry, Spider. If we can't find the map, we're gonna just remove it. But did I mess something up? Let's just see quickly here. For some reason I have a score on that map, but I know I did not score it, right? Alright. Maybe it was in the previous package then, right? And then it was removed, or... No, I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Alright. So we do this. Hold on. Empty. Oh, that was there. Ah. Okay. Where do we have that? Okay, so we have 32 maps, if I'm not mistaken. And if we saw that... Is that it? I think that's it. Okay, let me share the screen then. You can still hear me, right? Yeah, okay, let's just do this. Guess display capture is what we need. Right, so you should be seeing that now, right? Okay, so we have all the comments here. As you can see, this is what we've been writing through the time. I have now sorted the list, and these are the winners of at least my my little competition here. I screw the comments for now. These are the scores. So the final, the best map of the contest. Oh my god, Freaklings, you actually nailed 2 out of those. So Germany on the podium here 2 times with Wavelet and Bridging the Gap. We have a 9 of 8.5. We have Pearl at position number 3 with Mr. KD Man. We have Mr. Crystal Drac, position number 4 with 8, even with Mr. Spider, with Goodnight and Terraform. Then we have a bunch of 7.5s for Character, Cookie Master, Docklift, I think, and Jungle Terrain. So I can't see the nick, the flag is covering it. So we have Mystery Box, Auxstrat, Mayday, and Sanctuary. You can see only 4 player maps, just 1 2-player map on top there. Then we have a bunch of 7s with Carver, Abyss, Tundra, Midnight. Then we have 6.5s, 5 6.5 maps, Jojo Minerals. Okay, there are a bunch of people I'm gonna read out. Scarby, Serenity, Aden, Flying Battery, and Oilflow. 2 6s, Dark Knight and Largo. 2 5.5s with Turbine and Gold Treasure. Bunch of 5s, 3 5s with Uridice, Clock Strikes. Clock Strikes, by the way, got an update, so I know that Clock Strike would have definitely scored more. I'm actually gonna give Clock Strike a 7 now, just because even 7.5, just because I've seen how it was updated, and I think it was updated in a very good way. I really like how it was updated. So we have to resort it again. There's some last minute adjustments, guys. Alright, and here we had Chandelier at 5, Iridis at 5, 4.5s, Vertebrae, Cellular Automation, bunch of 4s, and 1 2. So, and then of course we have 1 with Mipping. So just sum it up, I mean, should be 33 altogether. It is 32. Yeah, I removed 1. I just removed the one that we couldn't find, Freaklings. So there is something, I guess, missing somewhere. Yeah, maybe I should have break it down into visuals and statics. That would have been done earlier, but again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. These are all the feedbacks, so let's do it like this. I'm gonna put this one on my Discord channel, so if you want to grab the file, you can join my Discord now. I'm just gonna put it on the main channel there. I'm just gonna upload it, so it's gonna be New World, how was it called? New World's Map Contest. Koget scores. Okay, by Koget here. Scores are by Koget, obviously. Let's do this. We have the map name here. We have the outer. We have Koget's boring comments, and we have Koget's final score, including aesthetics, looks, design, and gameplay ideas, kind of like how it's gonna look like. So a beautiful, absolutely stunning Excel table here for everyone to check out. If you want to get some recommendations, then that's where you want to go. All right, I'm gonna save it now and move on pretty much. So any final comments, guys? Do you agree with the list? Do you think it's very far from what it should be? What is your opinion? Is it reasonable? Or are we completely off here? What are your favorite maps? Does it resonate with what are your favorite maps? Tell me about it. Tell me a bit. I'm just saving the file. So please write to me. I'm gonna be checking chat in a second here. Let's do this. Alright, I'm just jumping on Discord now. Hop in Discord if you want to grab a file. So, you know, I hope no one takes this personally. I know first of all, big shout out to all the map makers. There is no map that requires little time. Every map, even those that might have been scored lower, I know that people left their hearts there and they spent numerous hours bringing them to a point where they currently are. So first of all, you know, a really big thank you for all the submissions. It's been great to look at them. Some fresh ideas, not so many super fresh ideas, but some fresh ideas, and a lot of ton of very consistent good execution. That's what I can tell. I mean, there were no real bad maps. Maybe some of them were not complete, but all the maps were very nice. Very nice maps overall. I mean, when I think about the maps I've been making, you know, 15 years ago for StarCraft, those would be freaking 1.5 points each of them, while I think those were all strong contenders. I am putting that one here. Watch the Alright, it is now uploaded on Discord, so you can grab it, you can do whatever you like with it. Use and abuse, pretty much. The two-player map was the best. We need more lights like Hitchhiker and Third World. Yeah, I think, yeah, I kind of agree with you, Jen. Yeah, the two-player map was really good. I agree. We just need to see how it plays out. But actually, maybe we could have even scored it a 9. Look, thinking about it now, but we didn't know if we were getting much better maps then, or is it the only one? So I was also a little bit careful with scoring it, you know, specifically at some higher rating, because maybe we gave it a 10 and then there was another map that was even better than this, and I wanted to make sure that the scale kind of considers, you know, the relation between maps, rather than just you know, all the good maps getting a 9 or a 10 and all the bad maps getting, I don't know, a 7 or a 5. So you know, I wanted to have some consistent scoring across the maps. Very nice, really cool. I really look forward. So I will do some games on it. I don't know if we should do it now. We can definitely check. Yeah, we can